Okay, this is the Nicole Marie podcast. I have Maria with the Columbus Nanny Agency with me today. And there's a couple fun facts. Hi, Maria.
Hi, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm so good. I'm so excited to chat with you because I actually started childcare and nannying in Columbus, Ohio, and that's where your business is. So, welcome to anyone who's going to be watching the replay because this is our my first podcast. I mean, technically, I did a trial with my mom, and we did made a joke about having podcast perfume.
Oh,
So,
nice.
because you have to smell good for a podcast.
I agree. I agree.
So,
I have my favorite on as well.
yes, and you look so beautiful.
Thank you so
Um, so I wanted to share with the viewers a couple amazing stats about your business, Maria, is that you have a 98% retention rate, meaning that when a nanny gets placed with a family, 98% they stay. Um,
Yes. So let me elaborate on that. With our plan and our program, we actually guarantee that our nannies stay with the family we place them with for a minimum of a year. Most of our nannies and families obviously want to continue on past that point, as a nanny does become part of their family. But if that does not occur, in the sense of there is a distraction or there is something that may not be the best fit, we will go ahead and replace the nanny within that first year. However, the 98% retention rate does come from that is the amount of nannies that we keep for over a year with each family.
Amazing. And a little fun fact that you shared with me is that your longest nanny placement, so you've placed a nanny and she stayed for 15 years
Yes,
with a
that is
family.
correct. That
Yeah.
is
Is there
correct. And
anything else?
there's several others in there that are, 12, 13 years. Um, it's interesting because, a lot of people do second families or blended families. And so the need for a nanny sometimes is a lot longer than just till the child or the oldest or youngest child gets to school age. So it's
Mhm.
really important that we have nannies that are career nannies and are interested in doing this more as a long-term fit than just coming in and out of the industry.
Yeah, amazing. And then you've been in business for 17 years in Columbus, Ohio. Is that right?
Yes, so that is correct. The Nanny Agency has actually been around for 17 years. However, I have only been part of it for the last 12.
Okay.
And I've been the owner for the last 7. But we
Mhm.
were one of the original entries into the industry here in Columbus. And I do believe at this point we are still the number one placing agency in
Oh,
Central Ohio.
nice. And then I know that you had just a couple. Were there any like? I know there's one story you shared in particular about how nannies are just a good addition to the home. There was a Diet Coke story that you
Yeah.
shared with me, and can you share with the viewers about that?
Sure. So, one of my favorite things to do is talk to the families when they do an initial inquiry, kind of asking about our process. And the first thing I always say is having a nanny is really having a different lifestyle for childcare and having the
Mhm.
support that you need in your household environment. And you and I had talked about, just because you're a very experienced nanny and you have a lot of experience with all types of families. One of the things I had mentioned to you is I myself, my family has had nannies. I myself have been a nanny, and I'm a mother of 3. And prior to this career choice, my husband and I owned restaurants. And so we had to have nannies to assist with us because that's a very busy profession, including covering a lot of hours in the evening. And so, obviously, in the restaurant business, one of the busiest nights is Valentine's Day. And my husband and I were working, and we had our nanny. And I woke up the next morning, and I was very exhausted. And at the time, had a little bit of a Diet Coke addiction. I have since ceased that. However, I remember waking up and thinking, oh no, we have no Diet Coke. And how am I going to get up? How am I going to get through this day after a long, long evening of major sales and awesome circumstances at Valentine's Day at the restaurant?
Mhm.
And sure enough, I went to the fridge, and inside our fridge was a 12-pack of Diet Coke with a Post-it note that said, "I think you're going to need this." And that was from our nanny. And I always use that to explain to families that being a nanny is not just caring for the children in the house. It is making sure that all members of the household are at their best. And I developed a really, really great relationship with that nanny, as did the children.